Last session in our SAEG Solution Series for 2025. Thanks to Nihilent for their support of SAEG and for making this session possible. Today, we're looking at the hidden costs of staying on SAP ECC, a topic that's critical for a lot of our members. Now, before we start, just a few details. This session is being recorded. The recording and a copy of the presentation will be made available on the SAEG website shortly, and we'll notify everyone when it's ready. Everyone is on mute, but you can ask questions using the question function on your screen. And if we have time, we'll go through them at the end. There'll also be contact details on the slide. So if you'd like to ask any questions in the future, you can email the presenters directly. Now, to introduce the topic and the presenters, I'd like to pass it over to Susie Nikolowski, who's the head of sales ANZ for Nihilent. Thanks, Susie.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much, and great to be here with all of you. Today's topic is, as Michael said, becoming increasingly urgent for Australian organisations. The cost of staying on ECC and what's really driving time and decisions. I'm going to guide you through the conversations for the next 45 minutes. So we have a strong lineup in today's session, so let me do some introductions to you. Excellent, thank you. First off, we have Donna. Donna's been with SAP for over 31 years, supporting her clients through transformations and many organisational changes. She has a deep insight in how Australian organisations are thinking about AI, cloud, innovation readiness, and what's actually driving appetite or hesitation in the move to S/4HANA. She has been in the front line of all these conversations for decades, for as long as I can remember, and she has authored a thought leadership article on the people side of transformation. Next, we have Kunal Thakur. Kunal joins us with over 20 years of hands-on SAP and supply chain leadership. He has led S/4HANA implementations, ERP modernizations, B2B, B2C logistics and large automation scales across FMCG, retail, e-commerce and distribution centres. He's delivered a full S/4HANA transformation across MM, SD, WMS, PP and finance. What I love about Kunal is that he has lived through these programs from the inside, not just as a consultant, but as an operator managing real constraints. And finally, we have Shohil Noor. He has worked with Nihilent in Australia and he's our VP, Associate VP, and Head of Client Relationships and Partnerships. He has 18 years experience consulting, transformation, data and AI, and is delivered that in banking, public sector and retail. He's worked across Africa and South Africa, India, and now in Australia, helping us govern and shape and execute digital transformation programs. Now that you've met everybody, let's walk through what we'll cover today and the agenda. We're going to begin with a fireside chat with Donna, who will give us a frontline view of what's actually happening in the Australian market. I'll then anchor with the global picture so that we can see how Australia actually compares with the US, UK and Europe. From there, Kunal is going to take us into the how, what organisations can actually do to de-risk the journey. Shohil will then outline an exclusive offer to the SORG members here today, and we're going to finish up with Q&A. So I love webinars and polls when they do have them, so we've made sure we have a few for them running. So please be QR code ready as we do our first poll, just to get a sense of who's in the room. So the first poll, where are you right now in your ECC to S/4HANA journey? Are you still on ECC with no migration plans, exploring options? Are you actively planning the migration, or you're already on S/4HANA? And the final one, of course, is not sure. Let's see how we go with the poll. Have you got your QRs ready? Is everyone trying to do it? I should actually just see if that's working.
Here they go.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. All right. There's a few coming up now. Well, no surprises there. I'm expecting there's going to be a few with exploring options based on our topic, so it's fantastic. I'll just wait for a few more to come in, but it looks like that's the biggest contender there as the slides come through with the percentages. Fantastic. Terrific, everyone. Well, that's the first practice run for our first poll. Now we're going to move into our section with Donna. Donna, you've spent almost 31 years with SAP customers across Australia, and you recently wrote a piece that resonated strongly, the true cost of SAP ECC. Let's unpack that together, and I'll ask you the first leading question. What do you describe as the ECC? Sorry, you described ECC as a comfort trap. What are the hidden costs that leaders don't always see?
Yeah, great question, Susie. I hope you can hear me okay. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this session. It's some great topics here. And yeah, 31 and a half or 3/4, I lose count now, but we've been doing this for a while, and you and I have been doing this together for a while too. So let's talk about ECC as a comfort trap. Why? Because it works. Yeah, it's reliable and delivers consistently. I have customers still running 20-plus-year-old ECC environments that work. Some of those systems have my configuration in them, no doubt, from 20+ years ago. But here is the dilemma, right? When I talk to some customers, you get that standard response of, well, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it, right? Sadly, that doesn't cut it in a world of global competition, cybercrime, tariff wars, talent shortages, etc. The hidden costs come from the manual steps, which are overlooked, data vulnerabilities from files being passed between divisions, and that ever-growing data volumes, because no one's archived for the past 20 years and probably customers have sweat that asset fully, let me tell you. And now when they have to make changes for legislative or innovation, it costs way more than it should. And sometimes we find people, when I talk to customers, they didn't even know who's going to make the changes, who can make the changes. Half the time they don't even know why they're doing what they do. They've just done it for so long. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for the hidden costs, not to mention the costs associated with out of support, databases, environments that are high risk, because if they did stop working tomorrow, there may be very few people left on the planet who can fix that particular issue. So the costs are huge. Yeah.
Yeah, terrific. And you also, I mean, even talking about it really isn't just the financial costs, is it? It's about that innovation debt. And so how do you see that playing out across the industries as well? I mean, we've got a really nice diverse group in the session today. So that would be a good question to sort of help the teams out here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look, innovation is everything. It sounds like a cliche. I didn't want to steal the quote from someone else, so I kept it pretty basic. But I heard a statistic yesterday, and it's from the analyst group, Jarden. Amazon, Shein, and Temu will capture 36% of Australia's online revenue in 2026. They have predicted, those big three are predicted to take 36% of our online revenue next year. 12 months ago, I'd never heard of Shein. And Temu, well, what was Temu other than an annoying app that came up, on your phone every now and then? So every day, retail, CPG, FMCG companies are always looking for innovation for their product sales, because they have to, right? There's just new competitors coming in the market all the time. But innovation in the back office was not a priority. Right? So innovate at the front office, innovate with new products, innovate with new partnerships. But what we're talking about now is, to do all that, we need a back office that is going to support that innovation, right? So every industry will have new competitors, new regulations, new threats to deal with that requires innovation from the front office to the back office. And hence SAP is focused on suite first, okay? Understanding the value of an integrated suite of processes delivered quickly and securely in our cloud environments. That's what we're talking about, okay? So leveraging what you've invested and doing it in a more flexible and dynamic environment. Getting left behind is not an option. Innovation is everything. That is the goal of a cloud-first company. You've got to be faster to upgrade, cheaper to upgrade, and quicker to innovate. Public sector and financial services industry is not an industry that I've had as much to do with over the years, but they still have a need to reduce the cost to serve, provide data securely, and make it easy to engage with their audiences. Whatever your industry we speak to, or whatever industry I speak to, today, there are opportunities for innovation, and these drive the business cases of today. Removing headcount isn't the only key driver, right? When we talk about innovation debt, right, you need to be able to be faster to market, more secure with your data-driven processes with AI. I can't believe I've gone for so long without using the word AI. AI is providing the best solutions. M&A opportunities, secure global supply chains, it goes on, right? On and on. Yeah. So innovation is key, and you can't be left on the shelf. You just can't.
So, you know, Donna, you mentioned we sort of worked together many, many moons ago when we were moving our customers from R3 to ECC, so that's showing our age. But, you know, there's been so many transformation cycles, right? And what's the difference this time? Like, why are we really making a big deal about it? You know, you've got customers that are hesitant. You know, they've all delayed, a lot of delayed RFPs this year in Australia. So where do you see the difference this time in this cycle of transformation for these customers?
Yeah, another great question, Susie. Well, if I cast my mind back to the dinosaur age, many of the earlier transformative eras were tech-led. Right, so we had new client server architectures, we had new database tech, we had new portal tech, we had new mobile tech, okay? But now we have to not just throw tech at a problem. We need businesses and technology to work together. We need to know the processes and the data and the AI impacts, right? Because AI is here and it's ready and it's to be delivered. It's already delivered in SAP solutions, and then customers can develop and innovate their own. But it's here, right? We've got Joule, we've got AI within our BTP, we've got AI within our IBP solutions. So it's here. Yeah, and you know, you really need to get going. And we're asking customers to embrace that clean core strategy. So go back and revisit those 20-year-old processes and see how we can embrace the standard. Why? Because when you move to standard, it is cheaper to upgrade, faster to upgrade, and you can take advantage of innovation on a regular basis, right? Which is where we started. Get hold of those innovations and start using them and rolling them out quicker. So the goal of cloud is to embrace the innovation quickly and effectively, right?
Terrific. And just a final question, just to close out our fireside chat. If you had to give one piece of advice to the leaders that might be sitting on ECC and the teams that have joined this webinar, what would it be? What would be that tip, that final one-liner, you know, if there is?
Oh, no, my one-liner to close.
Maybe just one-liner, okay. I'll give you a few.
Okay, don't be the last. There's my one-liner. Do not be the last, right? We have a great partner here.
I like that. Thank you.
We have a great. Hey, Susie, I'm trying to give you a plug. We have a great partner here with Nihilent, and they can help you with the business case and the plan, right? The processes can be done in a step change. You can take your time to investigate what options are best for you in your move to cloud, but retire that 20-year-old ECC system and start innovating, because the longer you leave it, the more it will cost. We have commercial incentives and investments to help you move, and we have partners, we have Nihilent, who will help you with that process as well. So don't be the last and don't get left behind. Get going.
Terrific. Thank you, Donna. Great context. Thanks for the plug. I really appreciate that as well. Look, it's been great just to see what you've seen in the market. So now what we want to do next is actually take a look at and zoom out and have a look what's happening globally. But as I can see, there's a poll. There's our second poll. If we can just take a look at for a second and that. Quick pulse checks. What do you see the biggest barrier in your organisation? If I believe this is a multi button, you can actually select more than one just here. Is it budget constraints, internal resistance to change, lack of skills or resources, unclear business case, or competing priorities. I think there's a good pick there as well. Let's just wait for the audience to come through. You can see it dynamically shifting for us. That's great. Budget constraints, yeah, I suspected that might be. It was on top of my list as well. That's what we've been hearing quite a lot anyway, so I do appreciate everybody taking the effort to do that. I know there's still more coming through, and we'll certainly start, we'll share that towards the end, as Michael has said. Okay, so let's move now to a very busy slide, and my apologies for that. You'll be able to read it probably much better once you take it, a copy from Michael. I just wanted to do a quick note about Nihilent, and I joined in July, but Nihilent in Australia has actually been around since 2014. But if you take a look at our map here, we are across US, UK, Europe, South Africa. Our headquarters is in India. It's where our offshore delivery centres are located. We've been doing lots of transformations, cloud modernisation, and actually AI-driven operations, in our AI centres, supply chain optimisation for the last 25 years. Across these markets, we are actually seeing consistent patterns, and they line up almost exactly with the research. So what you do see, now I have got there on the slide on the right-hand side, some of the articles and data points that I've taken some snapshots that resonated. These are the ones that were actually from either late last quarter and through to this year. It's interesting because when I've done the analysis, the global markets are actually moving at different speeds of transformation. Europe, I would have thought it was the US, but in Europe, half of the enterprises are already on S/4HANA Cloud, whereas in the US, they're taking more a hybrid model approach, which is quite popular. And then in Australia, only a third of the customers here have begun migration planning. So you can see where some of the delays in our region have happened. But the interesting sort of couple piece with that is that AI is rising fast, and in Australia you're seeing 60% of local executives are actually exploring how AI can be a part of the ERP modernisation rather than stand alone for front of house. So it gives a sense of where the world is moving, and why I guess the whole move to cloud for everybody here today is important as part of your a more structured and rigid AI pathway forward. Furthermore, one of the things that we've also seen with our consulting practice and speaking to them was around the global programs, the three consistent leadership, the ELTs, what they're needing to move forward. At a high level, these are the 3 points around de-risking and staging that roadmap. Clear, quantifiable costs of waiting. I've seen this has been very typical in Australia as well. CFOs have pushed back on business cases and said, I want to know what our technical debts are, and what is the actual maintenance that we're going to be paying if we stayed on. So a lot of these things for some of those IT CIOs and tech departments and businesses has had that slow down. And then finally, just making sure that the business case outcomes are actually anchored to what the executives actually care about. And some of that's more around automation, cost efficiencies, productivity uplift as well. This isn't about IT modernisation, it's way more than that. And I think this is the point that we need to really sort of hone in and focus on for the business cases. So now, just making sure that we are tracking on time. This is where Kunal comes in. Because he's delivered these transformations on the inside of large, complex organisations, he actually knows what works, and more importantly, he knows what doesn't work, right? So Kunal, he's actually, as he has done some S/4HANA transformations in these environments, let me hand over now to you so you can actually participate in what's the detailed part of this solution session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay. So let me begin with this German word from chess, Zugzwang. It means, and I'm sure many of the team members would know, a movement where delaying is not a correct strategy, where every month of delay pushes you closer to a disadvantage. Today, every company, whoever are working on ECC, is standing exactly in this position. While we wait, we debate, and we postpone, our competitors are already moving ahead, adopting cloud and taking benefits of AI, automation process, and gaining speed, which I'm sure will help them to produce a better results. And we have to take a call on that very soon. Look at how fast the world is changing. I remember Gmail took around 7 years to get 100 million users. Instagram took 2.5 years to gain the same quantum of users. TikTok took 9 months, but hey, ChatGPT got 100 million users in 2 months. While this is not evolution, this is a fast-track acceleration. In just last 24 months, there are 70% of top Fortune 500 companies who have already started using AI copilots. SAP and other ERPs have already started working a lot on AI on their core platforms. Early adopters are basically seeing 30 to 40% of productivity benefits. So all our team members who are there on this call, this is like a zugzwang moment, wherein we have to take a call, and we have to take a call quickly. Cloud migration is just not an IT upgrade. It is a strategic survival mode, which will help us to get better results. Yes, next, Robin. Sohail, sorry. Thank you. So in a cloud migration journey, there are few critical questions, which I'm sure you will get. Every company, CIO, or anyone who has gone through this journey have asked, and this we have just put it in a very clear-cut way so that it can help you to take better decision. Number one is the choice. Whether I should go for a public cloud or whether I should go for a private cloud. This is the first strategic call every CIO needs to take for a right deployment model. If we go and select public cloud, then we are basically adopting standardization, speed, and lower TCO. And in case if we are taking a call of a private cloud, we are looking at a more flexibility, customization, which will suit our business needs. Then the second part is the path. What are the paths I should adopt while going for any migration? For all those customers who are already on SAP, there are 3 options. One is greenfield, which is a clean slate using best practices. One is brownfield, the second one, wherein it's more of a technical project. It's a system conversion where all the existing processes are getting retained. And once the entire implementation is done, then teams do a lot of innovation on BTP and on Fiori, because when we are doing the migration, you are basically carrying a lot of customization. Personally, what I have experienced, there are many big companies who opt for brownfield earlier, and because they thought that this is less risky and this will basically help them to carry all the customizations to the new system, so that things for the business is less challenging. But slowly and steadily, there were a lot of innovations which were getting done. And then there came an approach of Bluefield, wherein a selective transformation, keeping what works. So all the custom programs which are very important for the business, that can be copied, and balance we can redesign as per best practice. So this was one of the best approach. And in this approach, I have seen a lot of AI tools have come, wherein even if you want to copy your 3 years data or 5 years data, closed transactions I'm saying, I'm not saying the open transaction. Even you can copy from ECC to S4, and it's very much doable. And we have completed multiple projects wherein 3 years of data were copied, and things, it was very easy for a planner to plan, because yes, there was some data which will help him on what should I buy. and even for other processes. Last but not the least, in the first part, which is foundation, is SAP has a lot of tools which will help us. And this decision normally can be taken at the time of migration, or it can be taken as a phase 2 approach. Number one, SAP IBP for the entire demand planning, supply planning, and SNOP process. SAP MDG, which is for master data governance. Third is SAP SuccessFactors for HR transformation, and SAP Ariba for entire procurement automation. Yes, Sohail. Next. So once we have taken the key calls which are related to foundations, now next comes are how to take benefits of the key features of SAP public cloud or private cloud. First is the integration suite. Or with the help of this system, the integration suite, we can connect with all non-SAP systems, our banks, our GST portal in a very correct way, wherein entire visibility is there on entire data movement, and there are lots of security processes which are followed. If you are connected with any non-SAP systems wherein you are creating contracts in some other system, the moment you create the contract, immediately the data is available in export. So all these benefits can be easily achieved through this integration CPI tool. I have implemented one of the cases wherein for an e-commerce company which does around 2 million orders a month, and every day the order comes from e-commerce portal to SAP seamlessly, and 2 million orders per month, entire pick pack is happening from EWM, and the business is doing wonderful. Next comes the Fieri. Fieri is one of the best features of cloud. The flexible workflows, the dashboards really helps the user to the next level. Every day morning, I will design the dashboard in such a way that once I log in my system, I see all the key parameters which I'm supposed to see, which will help me to take my actions. In my to-do list, if I am a procurement head, I will see all the notifications related to purchase order, which I have to approve. And there are multiple nodes, even it can be done on a mobile. So I need not need to even log in into my system, and you can access the Fieri apps on your mobile. The third part is the automation part, which I feel is again a wonderful innovation. We have built so many apps like a vendor portal, wherein entire vendor registration process, vendor purchase order process, ASN process, we can define a vendor portal workflow on a BTP platform so that there is a proper visibility and all the data is seamlessly flowing from the vendor system to SAP. Same way, we can build the dealer portal, master data workflow. In every company I have seen specially, there is a team master data team. All the team members will send them the data through the Excel sheet, and then they will create all the master data. Well, we can with help of BTP, now we have designed automated workflows wherein buyer updates the item attributes, which is validated by the senior, checked by finance, and it is automatically created in SAP S/4HANA. So you do not need a dedicated MDM team to manage such process. Other examples, credit management are workflows which can be built on the BTP as a part of automation process. So these are the key extensions which are a part of cloud migration, and this will help us to be future ready. Yes, sir. Next. Now, this is our third part, which is related to business data cloud. Number one, number two is the collaboration, and number three is innovation. I will first speak about business data cloud. So business data cloud basically is into four. There are four key features. One is data sphere. One is analytics cloud, which we all know is SAC. Third is data warehouse, wherein we can take data from non-SAP systems and it can be used to report in SAC. And last is data lakes or data bricks. We can use it for multiple AI process. I need to speak more on the analytics part because all my team members would know on this analytics journey. But with this lethal combination of BDC, BTP, and AI, things can be managed in a very correct way. And it will help us to impact our productivity. Next is the collaboration, wherein today's supply chain is not only within our manufacturing units or warehousing units. Today's supply chain, when we say end-to-end, it also includes your supplier warehouse, your logistics partners, and the people who are maintaining your plant maintenance assets. So there are many collaboration, integration, which we can build via BTP so that all the details are available, and we have all the details are available in BDC, which will help us to take decisions in a better way. The last but not the least, and I think so, even every company is now focusing on how to take more and more charge and create more and more projects, which is business AI. As I said, AI, BTP, and BDC as a combo can work wonders for a business. I have seen last week wherein one of the CFOs, with the help of AI, took out a data that he just spoke to Joule, and like a normal chat GPT prompt, he asked for a data, how many customers are billed in the month of September for which payment is not received. And he immediately got all the details. Well, we all are working on ECC, and we know for getting such a data, it's a task, it's a pain. And many a time, removing this data and ensuring it is correct, there is a lot of time and energy which goes into it. But if you can get if you can build multiple tools in Joule, wherein if a procurement person, a supply chain head asks how many products are there which is having aging of more than 1 year and which is about to expire in next 3 months. And if the system can give this data within 2 or 3 seconds, I feel it can really help the user achieve and focus on the key task. Yes.
Terrific. Next slide.
So just to give you an example, what we do, because moving to a cloud or choosing private cloud or public cloud and doing all those checks which was mentioned in the previous slide, it's sometimes confusing. And we need to, as a CIO, as a senior leadership team, we need to ensure that we take those calls correctly. What we can do here is, we have this assessment program of which is ranging between 4 to 6 weeks, wherein we understand your business, we understand your business process, your pain areas, your vision, and we map it against the best practices of industry as per our experience, and showcase the entire executive summary, which will help you to take correct calls after a period of 4 to 6 weeks. So this is an assessment where we can work on each and every module which has been already implemented in ECC, and then we create a roadmap of even those solutions which currently you might not be using, but we will guide you that in case if you use that, what could be the key success KPIs and what could be the ROIs. In my next slide, I can just give you an example wherein, Sir, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So this is a typical output which will give to a business user. So let's say if I am the procurement head, through this journey or through this slide, he will come to know after assessment what are the processes which can be managed as a part of standard SAP S/4HANA offerings. What can be managed if there are any workflows? Will it be managed in Fury, or will I have to do some enhancement on BTP? If there are any third-party systems like a weighing bridge, for example, goods receipt, how will it be managed, and how CPI can be used? So for entire end-to-end process for procure to pay, with this particular sort of a S-curve, a CXO can easily take a call on all the different processes and sub-processes on how the master data will happen, how the entire supplier onboarding process will happen, so on and so forth. With such a dashboard, I clearly know what are the key features which I can use as a part of code or standard which is already available, and what are the enhancements. And this is the output after assessment, which will take or which will give a clear-cut vision to each and every CIO so that he knows what exactly I have to do and how I have to do in 4 to 6 months. Yeah, next. Okay, these are the few examples which I thought I will just share it with you. We have done, and it's one of the few examples which I'm just putting up. Those dots which are green or brown or blue are nothing but what type of migration process they have followed. So if you see Jyoti Labs, they are one of the biggest consumer product companies in India, and they had taken an approach of greenfield as well as blue or brownfield. If you see a company, Rishabh, what they had done, where it's they have just copied all the key custom processes which were there and very critical, and all those custom processes were moved to SAP S/4HANA Cloud, and they also then adopted the best practices of Fiori, CPI, and BTP. So that was an example which I'll say more or less it's a bluefield approach. Yes, sir. Can you go to the next slide? These are some few examples. 20 Micron. It's India's leading producer of ultrafine industrial materials. It's a specialty chemical company. And we help them in do the entire migration from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. It was a complete greenfield approach, which took around 5 months to go live. And the key benefits which I feel when I was recently talking to the CIO is, number one, they are now heavily relying on the BDC and the BTP part, and they have built, after once the entire core implementation was done, they have done a lot of automations on BTP with workflows and side-by-side implementation. Second example I would like to give of this Japanese company, which is a stationery company, Camillin. It's they are into basically manufacturing of all the stationery products. This entire project again took a period of 6 months. They have gone for a bluefield approach, and again they copied few business critical customizations, and 70% was as a part of best practices. 70% of the processes they have adopted, which are standard to fit process, and this is how they have planned their entire migration. I would like to just say a key part about Camlin, the adoption level. Earlier, the CIO had a worry that the adoption level would be a concern because earlier they were working on GUI, and now they are started seeing working on Fiori. But when we took an internal survey, 90% of the team members showed a result wherein they were more happy with Fiori when compared to GUI. Yes, next slide, please. I'd like to talk about Transrail project. Well, it's a big company, and this was one of the challenging projects, wherein because it was a typical public limited company, and there is normally a very on the adoption process, we thought there would be a key risk, but this project we completed within a period of 6 months, and today all the team members are using Fiori and BTP and BDC for their day-to-day business process. I think so. The time is less, so we can just move.
We're running out a little bit of time. Just to summarise now, Kunal, this is our SAP business. Is there anything here that you might want to just do as a tag or throwaway line in regards to what you see as just in terms of the accelerators that you're going to see moving forward, that adoption's been taken on quite aggressively? Is there anything there?
So basically, this is just a snapshot of the companies wherein we are just trying to put 300 plus customers we are associated with. We have completed 100 plus implementations on cloud, And today we are supporting 100+ customers for AMS process. I think so, because the time is less, so maybe Susie, I'll just now give it to you for further.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Kunal. Next up, we've got Shohil. This is just a quick couple of minutes to talk through the offer that we've got for our SORG members that have registered today. If you want to just go through that now, Shohil, thank you very much.
Thank you, Susie, and thank you everyone for joining. Let me close out today with something very exciting that I'm sure many of you are waiting for. Almost every customer interaction we have been having in Australia, we see something very similar as a pattern that is emerging. The challenge isn't technology, it's about clarity. Clarity of cost, clarity of licensing, clarity about migration paths, and clarity about risks. What is the right next step actually looks like. Many organizations are feeling the pressure to move away from ECC because the support is coming to an end. But should that be the right reason? No. Don't move just because support is stopping. Move because you want to innovate, simplify, and modernize. Move because you want to see real-time visibility. You want automation, AI, and clean code. Move because you want a platform that supports the next decade of your growth. We have put ourselves in our shoes and designed a program that removes the uncertainty, reduces risks, and gives you clarity without any upfront costs. So we created something called Nihilent's Zero Cost S/4HANA Readiness and Modernization Program. This is a limited offer where Nihilent funds the entire readiness phase, which is the first 4 bullets that you see, so that you can prepare properly without commercial risk and with full confidence. What powers this program? This program is powered by the accelerators that Nihilent has built in the last 15-20 years with our 130+ SAP transformation programs, and also SAP's own diagnostic tools. So we will be using Signavio to do process mining and understand the bottlenecks. We will be using S/4HANA system assessment tool to understand the current health check and the technical posture. FUE analysis to understand and forecast what your licensing needs would be in the future so that you don't get surprised later. And BSR, the business scenario recommendations, to do a benchmarking against how the industry is performing and what are the best practices. So we have combined all these insights and the proven accelerators to give you something factual that you can use to start your next journey, which is more evidence-based and not sales-oriented. In simple terms, what you are getting by not being upfront are the first 4 bullets that you see, where these phases will give you clarity before you commitment of your current state, the options, and clarity on the smartest path that you could take. The readiness phases would definitely give you the following: the details diagnosis scan, real-time usage analytics, the licensing options and the commercial posture, the future, the FUE alignment, so that you understand what the licensing needs would be, clear code guidance, migration options, brownfield, greenfield, or selective, AI, automation, and BTP opportunities, and a prioritized roadmap that you can take to your leadership for an alignment briefing. Simply to put you in simple words, is that when you are ready to move, you don't have to pay upfront. We mobilize using a milestone-based commercial model with a shared risk. That means your cost is tied to our progress and outcomes and not upfront payment of any of the invoices. It reduces risk, it accelerates momentum, and keeps you in full control. The 4 points are the points beyond the top 4 are optional for you to consider. AMS, support, etc. is something that you can decide when you want them, so the entire journey will remain in your hands. So to summarize, my request is don't move because the deadline is coming. Move because you're ready to innovate. Move with clarity, not treasure. Move with evidence, not assumptions. Let us invest first so that we can make decisions with confidence. And note that this is a limited readiness program. If you would like to explore more, please book one-on-one meeting with us. We'll be happy to take you through the journey in detail.
Terrific, thank you. Now we are right on the 45 minutes, so we're going to have to miss our final poll and just open up briefly for people to throw some questions in. In our last, sorry about that, but in our, yeah, we've got QR codes to contact us, of course. If you could answer the questions, what we will do is come back and then give you a detailed response if you wanted to do that. Otherwise, I do believe we have gone a little bit over time. Please go ahead and put in those questions that you needed, and we'll be sure that we can return them back as part of the package of the presentation. Michael, I think it's back to you.
Yeah. No, all good. Thanks, Susie, and thanks everyone. Really great presentation, and we'll be sending out an email with links to the presentation, the recording. There'll also be details about where you can get more information about that special offer. And if you have any questions or whatever, make sure that'll go out shortly. But thanks everyone, really great presentation, lot of good insights there. And just one quick announcement: we've got next week the last webinar for the year. Would you believe? It's very entertaining, DERP. It's not me, it's not you. So make sure you look at that. And also the website will shortly be having 2026. I can't believe I'm saying that, but 2026 events. So make sure you have a look at that. Look, thanks to all our presenters. Thanks to all the team. Donna as a special guest, and all the team at Nihilent, and hope to see you at the last event and another event soon. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.